Good morning everyone, Stefan here, CEO of LiveVista. I'm super excited to be here again with one of Payoneer's events to be sharing with all of you how to crush dropshipping in 2020 and beyond, alright? So dropshipping has evolved across the years, and in order to be able to keep up with the trend, there are certain fundamentals that's very critical that a lot of dropshippers have been overlooking, which in return, that's making their dropshipping career or life much harder compared to the people that are doing it right, okay? So don't worry, I'm here to kind of like share my experience with all of you and how we are able to stay ahead of the curve and being able to crush it in dropshipping, even with with all the changes that have in place with Facebook and Shopify and all that kind of stuff. As long as you're going to be doing things properly, you'll be in the game for a long time and sustainable business, okay? All right, so with that said, I'm gonna get started very quickly. But for those of you that do not know me, here's some quick information about myself, okay? You probably already know my name is Steve Tan. I've been in the digital marketing and e-commerce space for more than 15 years now, okay? I've been involved with direct-to-consumer brands, Amazon FBA, e-commerce platforms like eBay, Amazon, and many more. And of course, my core focus is still dropshipping. We have been rolling out like a lot of different strategies and for our dropshipping stores. And of course, we're also building more longer term brands for like direct to consumers, okay? So I've since then sold over more than 100 million worth of like physical products, which is e-commerce products that people receive every single day. And we're also founders of e-commerce elites mastermind, one of the biggest and most content kind of like free Facebook group on Facebook. All right, so if you guys are interested in e-commerce, please feel free to join that. It's totally 100% free. Me and my brother, we always go into Facebook groups to add value and give back to people who are still starting out, or people just overall just sharing golden nuggets that we have learned across managing all our business. All right, so here are some of our stores, the numbers that we did, over 12 million in one store across 1 year, 3 million across a few months, sometimes also like smaller stores like 1.4 million across like a couple of months, okay? So we have also been invited, all around the world, like in the US, in Europe, we speak around sharing pretty much everything dropshipping, e-commerce, not necessarily it's always dropshipping because the e-commerce is such a wide topic, and we have been involved in so many different kind of products, brands, and we really want to make sure that there's more and more people that's coming into this space, because e-commerce has changed our lives, and I'm sure that it will change many more people, which is why we really want to empower more people to kind of start doing e-commerce, because this is one of the best business that anyone could ever get started, okay? So we've spoken at US, Europe. This is in Singapore. That's one of our events in Singapore a couple of years ago. Now with all the whole COVID happening, it's actually quite tough to have physical events right now, which is why I'm super glad that Payoneer has this virtual event that makes it so much easier for us to spread the message and share strategies and trends across for 2020 and beyond. All right. Okay, so that's us in Bangkok as well. We've been sharing a lot of time speaking at Affiliate World, and we've also traveled around the world sharing with people like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people events across the world as well. We've also been invited to Shopify. That's kind of like our go-to e-commerce software that we always use and always recommend to all our students. It's super good, and we have been there, we've been to their head office, met with a lot of the executives and managers there to kind of understand more what's their vision in trying to help more e-commerce entrepreneurs scale their business to the next level. All right, so let's get started. Today I'm gonna go through what do you need to do in 2020 and beyond. See, which is why kind of I named this dropshipping in 2021, because we're almost at the end already in 2020. So I want to prep you guys, if you guys are not doing all the things that I'll be sharing today, please take a lot of notes and make sure you start reviewing, because it's towards the end of the year. Our company and we have a tentative always way of going through what we have done across the entire year, and we need to do some reflection on how we can get better. All right, dropshipping 2021, some checkout page optimizations that I always want to emphasize on this, because there's so many people that's doing very well, but they're leaving so much money on the table and they're not realizing that, and all they are focusing on is just getting more traffic, more Facebook ads, more Google ads, but that's not fixing how they could increase their profits with all these slight optimizations that could have been in place. All right, I'll be also talking about how to increase your average order value, and of course, most importantly, that will help in your increasing your lifetime value of the customer. All right. Okay, so let's get started first with dropshipping in 2021. Okay, a lot of things have changed, and a lot of people have been burned by dropshipping, mainly consumers, right? Because why? Because there's so many sellers that are selling poor quality products. They're not selling the product as advertised, or probably some of them are scams, some of them are using super slow shipping, untrackable shipping and all of that, okay? And the reason why you guys have seen Facebook rolling out the feedback score is to battle all this kind of bad sellers, bad advertisers, right? And one of the main reasons, from what I've understand, is because there's a huge rise in scams coming from originated from probably Southeast Asia or probably China. People sell a lot of products, those high ticket products, at extremely low prices, right? Probably you and we would be very, very easy to we can spot all these scams very easily. But the normal consumer, if they see something that's selling at retail for $200-300, they wouldn't be able to decipher whether this is a real deal or a scam, right? So Facebook rolled out this to combat all the scams, all the bad advertisers, which is why they rolled out something called the Facebook feedback score, okay? So pretty much, if you guys don't know this or you haven't seen this, please take note. This is something that you will need to take serious. You need to put in serious thoughts. You need to plan this properly as well, because feedback score is kind of like how Facebook measures the customer feedback and kind of the purchasing experience from your customers. And this, in result on how your customers rate you, will impact your ads and your e-commerce conversion performance as well, right? So Facebook uses a variety of information, surveys to people that has run e-commerce conversion ads on your store. They will be able to detect, and what they will do, they will send a survey to all the customers that has purchased from you, to help Facebook identify whether the seller or yourself is selling the product accurately. Are they representing it correctly? Are they shipping it on time? How's your customer support? And many, many more, okay? You should always monitor this feedback, because this is super critical, because you yourself as a business owner, you will know whether you're meeting the expectations of the customer. And at the same time, you need to review this with Facebook, because when you have a low feedback score, many things will have an impact. Last time it used to be below a certain threshold. Now the minimum threshold is 2. And you want to make sure you're away from 2, because if your borderline is going to cause a lot of issues, all right? So I'm going to share with you quickly how it looks like, okay? It will show your score is under penalty, what's your current score, how many months are you under penalty, okay? Because of low customer satisfaction, Facebook will penalize you with giving your future ads with lower reach, meaning that the exact same ad that you run with another competitor or another page that's not penalized, you're gonna get less people seeing that ad, because Facebook is gonna restrict you and your CPMs is gonna go up. Okay, so you have low feedback score, you're gonna get less people seeing your ad, and your CPMs are gonna go up at the same time, okay? And as I mentioned just now, the cutoff score right now is 2, right? It's actually not hard to honestly, it's not hard to get a feedback score of higher than 2 if you honestly care about your consumers, right? If you don't care, then probably you're gonna get penalized. That's 100%, right? But if you have decent support, you care about your customers, you care about your product, you care about your brand, it's very, very hard to go below that, unless there's some major problems that you have encountered, like shipping, or probably your warehouse burned down or something like that. It's actually not hard to be there. All right, if you drop lower than 2, you won't be allowed to advertise on Facebook. As simple as that. They're gonna ban your page. You're gonna be restricted. Okay, so please take this seriously. So in case you do not know how to check for your feedback score, all you need to do, just go to this site, facebook.com/ads/customer feedback. Okay, going to this site, you'll be able to see what's your feedback score for your page and what you need to do. And of course, you could see customer feedback scores, feedback to your product, your shipping, your customer service. For example, like this screenshot, you could click on it and say, oh, people say, I've been waiting for 2 months and I'm expected the package to arrive 6 weeks ago, right? This is people that are unhappy with your product. So this is kind of like a really good transparent way of checking in on how is customers thinking about your product, your service, and many, many more, okay? So I'm gonna share with you guys how to stay away from number 2, the baseline score, feedback score number 2. And there's many, many simple ways that you guys could actually start implementing in your business to kind of take things differently and change your feedback score, for the long term, okay? So I'm gonna share with you some tips on how to improve customer feedback, okay? And one thing is, a low feedback score is honestly just like a reflection of how people are thinking about your product and your brand and your service, right? And they're not meeting their expectations of the, from the customers. And from this feedback, or all the feedback you receive, it's easily, you could easily transform or like improve on like your service, your product quality, so that like, you increase the longevity of your brand, okay? All right, so here's something how it looks like, all right, on feedback score. There's a few things that Facebook kind of like rated on, right? Shipping speed, product quality, responsiveness, and would you recommend this store or this product to your friend or anyone that has bought this product, right? So we're gonna go into this first, okay? The first thing, shipping speed, right? You wanna make sure, your shipping. Even though you're drop shipping, I'll be going deeper into this later on. But as I mentioned just now, shipping speed is one of the core factors that Facebook is looking at, followed by product quality, responsiveness of like how fast you react to your respond to your customers, and would you recommend, okay? So let's start going into shipping speed first. Here are some things that you guys could easily do to improve your shipping speed, and of course like your shipping or kind of like feedback score from your customers, right? Of course, most of you guys are drop shipping, right? But I would highly recommend that you guys work with direct shipping lines from China. There's a lot of different lines, but usually your supplier would have access to those people that are able to get the goods directly into US within 7 to 10 business days, right? From the moment you start shipping, 7 to 10 days, most of our goods, I would say 80% of them arrives in US within 2 weeks. All right, definitely they're more expensive than the traditional e-packet routes, but this is something that it's worth investing in, okay? All right, so the other way what we do is like we'll ship it via ocean. Everything that we found a winner. But usually we do not do this until we find a winning product, right? Because like you do not want to stock a lot of inventory, especially with the dropshipping business model, because you're gonna have a bunch of cash flow stuck in the inventory, right? So in this case, what we'll usually do is once we find a winner, then we'll start doing some private label, the packaging, and we'll ocean everything to the US fulfillment centers, right? And from there, we can get very quick local 3 to 5 day ground shipping from FedEx, DHL, eCommerce, or whatever services that you guys choose. They will make people receive the product really quick, and this will bump up your score. You'll easily get really good scores for your shipping speed, okay? Local shipping, as I just mentioned, but most importantly, when you're doing some shipping from China and some shipping from US or Europe, it's very important for you guys to implement forecasting for your inventory, because you do not want to overstock for your inventory. So majority of the products that we're shipping out, it's initially from China, then we subsequently improve our shipping speed by shipping everything to the US, okay? That's one thing. These are some things that you guys could explore doing it. But first things first, in order to not have too much changes in your current business model, I would highly recommend start shipping using the faster direct shipping lines, okay? All right. Number 2, product quality, all right? Because a lot of people are people have been pitching e-commerce dropshipping is a great business model. No doubt it's one of the best business model, but it also has its cons, right? Because you have been dropshipping directly from your supplier. This also means that there's a possibility that 99% of the sellers, they do not care, or probably they do not see the physical product before they start selling things. Obviously, if you add in like product quality or like checking the quality of the product, it's going to delay sometimes your speed to launch the product, but this is critical in order to sell a good product and be in the space for a long time. You need to be like on a constant you need to have a constant way of checking your quality of the product, be it through a supplier, be it through someone locally, okay? And one thing is I noticed that your image and video creatives should always represent what is being sold by you, right? You do not want to like sell like promise a product and you in turn ship like a B product, right? This is something that really irritates so many people all the time, and I really want to make sure that you guys are doing this properly, okay? And make sure to always get samples first from your suppliers, because this will actually help you guys out in terms of making sure the product that you're selling is not crappy. And usually what I do is when I'm shipping something over in bulk to the US, I'll just hire like an inspection company like Intertech or whichever. They'll send people down to their factory and QC, like they'll take out some products to check for the quality before like they sign off, and you're able to export the product to the US, okay? And or easier solution, just work with a trusted local agent in China to ensure quality control, okay? That's one thing that we always do as well. All right. Okay, responsiveness on Facebook feedback score pretty much means that you need to be very quick in replying to your customers. So one thing we have in place in our company is that we always have like slowest response time, 24 hours. That's our KPI for our customer support team, right? And you need to ensure that you do not delay your customers too long, because this will mean that they are gonna be like, you're leaving your customers hanging there, and they're not going to be able to get a resolution, which will result in chargebacks, unhappiness. They do not know where's the product, and all that kind of stuff, right? So one thing we also implemented was live chats during our peak shopping hours. Every store is different. Depending you're selling in the US or Europe, you have different peak hours. And during different peak hours, and I noticed that implementing live chats has an increase, like a measurable increase in conversion rate as well. And not only just for conversion rate, customers are happier that they know where to ask for answers. Usually when someone is angry, they want to have answers immediately. And adding like a live chat there helps bring down a lot of our chargebacks or like disputes from PayPal, because people have a channel to go to in order to ask for any questions, okay? And most importantly, conversion has went up. So this is a great investment. You don't need like 10, 20 people on live chat. You probably just need 1 or 2 people on the standby as and when you require during your peak hours, okay? We also use like tools like Zendesk to streamline our tickets, so that we can handle our disputes, questions, refunds promptly. And this will in return come back to you with like good scores for responsiveness, all right? Okay? All right, so if you implement all these things in place properly, you're gonna see something like this: high feedback score, satisfaction score, and this will mean that you are gonna get good delivery or delivery from Facebook when it comes to your ads. You're not gonna be restricted, okay? You're gonna have like good shipping speed, product quality, and everything will be a little bit more balanced. The first 3 things like shipping speed, quality, responsiveness, if they are good, people are going to recommend it, so you do not need to worry too much about it, okay? All right, and make sure you stay away with number 2, right? Because the score number 2 is kind of like, I would say, the finger of death from Facebook, right? Anything below that, they're going to restrict you. You're going to get a lot of trouble. You're going to get penalty. You're going to get like restricted delivery and many more, all right? Okay, so that's ideally, I want you to see this for you guys, right? Obviously 4.9 is a little bit extreme, but anything above 2, like 3, 3.5, 4 are great scores that you guys should be all aiming towards too. Okay? All right, so we still have some things that I really want to go through with you, which is checkout page optimizations. Okay, one thing that you guys should be doing. I know not all of you are using Shopify, but some of you guys are using more flexible solutions like WooCommerce, BigCommerce, and many more. That's totally fine. That's great, right? Optimized one-page checkout is something that I highly recommend to all of you guys who are using whichever platforms you guys are doing right now. Okay. And the reason why we use one-page checkout is because it has less steps and fewer clicks. In today's environment, right, everything's so fast, right? People, all the shoppers, they are very experienced people, and they expect a fast and seamless shopping experience. And yet, friction remains in the checkout still remains one of the top reasons why all these shoppers do not complete their purchase. And a one-page checkout could help make it simple, more simpler, and more convenient for customers to purchase from your e-commerce store. All right? That being said, these are some of the core factors that I have come up with. Less steps and fewer clicks. Customers want the least path of resistance. Okay? And reducing the number of steps and clicks will keep the checkout process short, simple, and frictionless, making it more appealing to your customers. As simple as that, right? And speed and efficiency, because if you have so many things there, it's gonna make the checkout page load slower. And nowadays, shoppers are impatient. People don't like to wait, because one thing like people always say, you should speed up your store because that's going to increase your conversions. Same for a checkout page. This is the exact same logic as well. Okay, and most importantly, what we care most is increasing increasing the amount of conversion rate, which in turns means that reducing the abandoned cart rate as well. Okay, so this is what an optimized one-page checkout looks like. Okay, you have all your things in there, your shipping address, your contact information, your shipping method, your credit card, everything is all in there, right? It's all in one page for the user to check out, right? And that makes it very, very simple. And at the same time, we will put in things like, some things like, urgency, countdowns at the checkout page only. We want to give the customers a sense of urgency to complete the purchase. At the same time, we'll put in our best reviews, right? People buy with confidence. So that when they see all these reviews, make sure you put in all the best legit reviews that you guys have gathered from your customers so that you could instill confidence on them when they are almost going to put in their credit card numbers. This is something very critical as well. At the same time, don't be shy with displaying all your guarantees, how many orders have you shipped, because this will boost confidence when buying. When people have a good confidence in buying from you, conversion rate goes up, right? And at the same time, all these things, all these guarantee seals and everything are all in place to boost conversion rate. Okay, make sure you put all these things on your checkout page, because trust me, we have split tested this again and again and countless times, and this has been always coming out with great results. Okay, so I want you guys to take this and implement it. Whatever your shopping platform that you guys are using right now, make sure you go and implement a few of things that I've mentioned today. Okay, and at the same time, we like to optimize for our checkout experience, because one thing that we really know, we know exactly what kind of which countries prefer what kind of checkout methods. What I'm trying to say here is for example, if in Germany, for example, if they prefer to use PayPal, why are you going to show them the one-page checkout? It doesn't make sense anymore, because putting one more step is going to add one more layer of friction, and we do not want that. Okay, so if you know from your numbers, if US people like to check out with PayPal, from the cart page directly, when they click on checkout, it will go directly to PayPal. We don't need to show them the one-page checkout as well. So make sure you go through all these numbers and understand what is the optimized checkout funnels for your customers. For example, in this video, we know Singapore people prefer to pay with credit card and not PayPal. So we'll put the people that are from Singapore, they'll go through our traditional one-page checkout and not PayPal. Right? As simple as that. That is how we optimize and reduce the amount of friction across the different steps. Okay? One thing that I feel that if you're selling into international markets, make sure you have multi-language checkout page. Right? Multi-language checkout page will increase the customer's experience, and at the same time, your overall conversion rate will also go up, especially for people in the same country. For example, if I'm from France, I want to see a checkout page in French, right? And this applies if you're selling a lot of things into European Union. If you're just selling to US, you could skip this step, okay? So this is how this looks like for a Spanish page, everything in the checkout page is going to be in Spanish, right? This will increase and boost confidence as well, because people feel, oh, this is a store probably from from Spain, right? And people will be more comfortable checking out with this. Only applies if you're selling to European Union, because there's a lot of European countries there. But if you're just selling to 1 or 2 countries, you can forget about this step, okay? All right. One last thing I really want to cover as well before I end this whole topic is you really need to work on increasing your average order value. Okay, for like the one-page checkout that I've mentioned just now, there's apps like Intercart or PP Funnels that you guys could check it out in order to help you guys implement the one-page checkout or to boost your average order value. Okay, so in case you guys aren't very sure with what's average order value, you can easily calculate your average order value by taking your total revenue divided by the total number of orders. Okay, and why is this so important? To simply put, the higher the average order value, the more revenue you can earn from the exact same amount of customers, which means you're not spending more money, but you're just increasing the more money that you can earn from the same batch of customers that's coming in every single day. All right, and increasing average, here are some ways to increase your average order value: free shipping with minimum spend, bundle deals, cross-selling products, discounted upsells after order completion. This is something that I highly recommend, because it usually just crushes and improves our average order value. Okay, free shipping is very simple, very straightforward. All you need to do is implement a minimum spend. The key to making this work is to ensure customers are well informed of how much more they need to spend in order to qualify for free shipping. So whenever we have this, we'll have free shipping like on the banner of the site, and the cart page will show you're like X amount away from free shipping. This simple thing easily boosts our conversion rate by 10-20% easily. Okay, bundle products deal. Right, bundling is the best approach to significantly increase your average order value at the same time. And this is some things that we usually do, like bundles, like accessories. These are great things to do. One guide that you guys should reference to is Amazon. They are the best in terms of bundling, cross-sells, and upsells. Okay? Alright, cross-selling products is also an effective way to add value to the customer's experience. Something like, on the product page, these are cross-selling the products, and people will easily get value if they see something that's very relatable to them, and they will easily add this to cart. Okay? Don't try to cross-sell with unnecessary or unrelated products. That will look bad for the brand, and it doesn't usually convert very well. Okay? Now I'm going to share with you the most important thing, which is what I call the discounted upsell after order completion. Okay? Whereas most business owners would send them to the traditional thank you page, thank you for ordering from us. That's one of the mistakes that I always see. Take this opportunity to upsell them to something, because they are already in a shopping mood, right? So direct them to something like an upsell page, and most buyers will buy this upsell because you are gonna give like significant discounts to it. Okay, so this is something what it looks like. When people purchase, okay, you could customize the design as and when, however you like it. But one thing is, like, when the customer completes the purchase, don't send them to a thank you page. Send them to your upsell page with complimentary products, or probably at a discounted rate for the exact same product, right? This would help boost, easily 20 to 30% of the people are going to buy your upsells. And don't miss out on this golden opportunity to sell them more, all right? Okay, guys, I think the time is pretty tight this time for my presentation, and I hope you guys really gain value out of this. If you guys are interested or want to see more of this, feel free to join our Facebook group or follow us on Instagram. Hey Steve Tan, hey Evan Tan. This is my personal Instagram. Or join our Facebook group as well, so that you could learn more about how we share all this value on how to convert your customers better and increase your business for an e-commerce store. All right, this is Steve Tan. Thank you very much.